Welcome in, everybody. Happy Thursday. We got a good one for you all today. We got Kenny in here as usual, but not as usual. We have Tyler in here. So excited to have Tyler. We're going to jump into the start, talking a little bit about Tyler's story, building his business. Kenny and Tyler have worked together in coaching. So Kenny's here as well because he knows a lot about Tyler's path. So anyway, quick intro on Tyler. He's been on a live before. Cool guy, obviously. If you're on that live, you know that. He has built his business started in January of 2023. So that's like a year and a half ago. And since then gone from $0 to $30,000 in a 4-week period. So 30,000 in a month. He was at a mastermind of ours recently in Nashville, and it was a great mastermind. And he just like told everybody what they needed to hear. It was very funny. So, Tyler, glad to have you on here. Spend some time.
Happy to be here, as always.
All right, let's jump into it. So just recap kind of like a high-level overview, I guess, of your story, what you think made you successful, and then I'll ask some follow-ups and we'll do some Q&A for everybody listening.
Yeah, so long story short, everyone right out of high school, they think, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to college? And I did. I went to college, and about 3.5 years in, I did my last semester online and moved to Aiken, South Carolina, because I grew up in the horse industry, picking stalls, like never too good to get down and dirty, picking stalls, rode horses. I was like a barn manager and a rider, and didn't really know anything about photography, and somehow bought a camera with my stimulus check during COVID, a Nikon D800, I think it was, with like a 55 to 300. I don't even know what it's worth. So that was like the initial purchase of a camera. Fast forward a little bit in, my camera was stolen about a year in, but I taught myself fully manual, and I was shooting horse shows at the time to like make extra income on the weekends while I was in college. And then I still didn't know what I wanted to do, so I continued on with my master's and got my master's in digital media and marketing. But at the same time, as I was starting my master's, I bought Eli's course on real estate photography because I was working on the weekends and I had Monday through Friday. Of course, I had school that I could do, but I purchased your course, completed the whole thing in 2 weeks. I'm talking like I would go do my necessary things during the day, go home, turn off the lights, and just put on my headphones and watch and take notes. And I completed, like I said, the whole course in 2 weeks. I was super excited. There was another guy, I think his name is David. He's in the REPP group on Facebook. Mm-hmm. He gave me, I think, 3 of his shoots, which were over an hour and a half away, for me to go do some test shots with him, or not even with him. He was like, I'm not going to be there. I'm having a kid. I need help. So I went and did it, and I was like texting him, blowing him up the whole time I was there. I think for 25 photos and a floor plan and drone, I was there for 3 hours. There was like construction workers outside waiting on me. Um, so that was great. He paid me a little bit, so that was even better. Got my gas paid for. And so I had my first paid shoot, March of 2023.
Okay.
And it just slightly picked up. If I had my calendar in front of me, I wish I could just scroll through because you could just see on my Google Calendar the purple things. Every month got a little bit more and more and more. And I was following the course. Anytime I had a question or that before coaching, I just referred back to the course. I mean, I would even turn it on in the car as like a podcast.
Yeah.
So I was just really into it. And I never, even in college, was I ever into what I studied. I mean, it was just business. So then I was averaging about $7,000 a month towards the end of the year. And then coaching came along. So I bought coaching, had my initial conversation. They were like, "What's your goal?" And I said, "I want to double my profit. You know, if I had a starter goal, it would be to double. So we're talking $14,000." And I said, "But if I really wanted to set a high goal, I would like to be close to the $20,000 mark." But I didn't think that was possible. And I think his name was Carlos. I don't know if he's still with you guys, but he was like, "Why do you not think it's possible?" He's like, "If you think it's not possible, it's not going to be possible." And I was like, okay, it's possible. So I went through with it, started with Kenny, and of course, that's when we were on, what's the other, Slack. And we had the build out of the roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
And I knocked, the first roadmap out in like the first day. The second roadmap took me maybe 2 or 3 days. Then we got to the third roadmap, and I was like, okay, I'm sorry, I can't do, like, I'm trying.
Yeah.
But the first month I bought coaching, I went from 7 to 9.1 or 9.2 thousand. And I was like, oh, wow. And then by the second month, I was already at double, 14. I was at my goal within the first 60 days.
Yeah.
And then fast forward about 4.5, 5 months in, we were at $30,000 within a 4-week period. So obviously on Stripe, it records it by month. So that's why I have on my profile and stuff 0 to 25,000, but really it should be 30.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. And I just started client acquisition.
Yep.
3 days ago, and I've already booked 3 new clients. Have had 0 no's yet, so that's good. I'm doing brokerage calls. I did like 10 this week, and I've got 2 yeses out of that. The other ones, no callbacks, or they didn't answer. So you gotta want it, and I want it, and it's been positive for me. July was a little slow, but I mean, the last 2 days I walked away with almost $2,000 plus a day. So we're back. We're getting back up there.
What do you think for you? Like, you obviously, coaching course, all that stuff aside, some people grow faster than others. You've grown fast, in a short period of time. What do you think it is for you? Like, what did you do to get your initial clients? And do you have anything that you think has made you successful? You move quickly, so obviously that, but anything come to mind?
So, I mean, I genuinely like to think I'm a people person, and I try to tell people that are not people persons, that are my friends. I'm like, because there's a guy that's 3 hours from me who did wedding photography, and he's a volunteer firefighter. I was like, dude, you just gotta smile, act like you know what you're doing, and like go in with confidence, and it'll sell itself. And I mean, the first shoot I ever did for myself, I forgot to take a picture of the front of the hotel. So of course I did a really bad thing, and I went on Google and looked up the hotel and took the photo, adjusted it in Lightroom, and sent it back to her. And she loved it. Nobody ever said anything, and she's still a client to this day, and she doesn't know that I did that to this day. But I didn't stop, and I will say I think I don't have, a partner, nor do I have kids. It's me and the business. And I'm still giving it my all. I mean, I'm still not going to bed sometimes past 10 o'clock. And there were times I talked to Kenny, I'm like, dude, Kenny, this is killing me. This is killing me. And Kenny's a coach. So what does he do? He gives you advice. He says, you've got to do this. When he introduced me to a VA, I'm telling you, my life changed. The numbers were up. I have not looked at a past shoot probably since February. Like, genuinely, like, needed to go look at something. Now, every once in a while, I'll have someone message me, say, hey, Tyler, can you remove this girl out of the pool or something like that? So I go and look and see what she's talking about, and I voice memo on Facebook Messenger to my guy Joseph, and I'm like, Joseph, I need this done, and he sends me a thumbs up. So that's why when I went to that mastermind in Nashville, and some of them people in there that did not have a VA but had photographers working for them and doing like X amount of money per month, waking up in the morning. Like the day Kenny allowed me to buy back my time in the mornings to make my cup of coffee and have my shower and take a deep breath and
enjoy life a little bit.
Yes, if I forget to plug something in, I just plug it in really quick. Like,
yeah,
it's honestly been game changer. And coaching, like, I needed, obviously it tells you that in the course if you would have purchased it previously, but no one was there to like push you and hold you accountable. And you can go get an accountability coach, but they're not real estate photographer accountability coaches. They don't know what a heck, like, who knew that you could get someone in the Philippines and have them basically work for you?
yeah.
I mean, I've got two now, and they are amazing. They work for me 6 a.m. to 12, and then 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. So
yeah, for everybody
going around the clock
listening, basically there's kind of like two stages, in my opinion, to growing a real estate media business. There's the first stage where you're just grinding it out. I mean, you got to get to like 7 to 10K a month before you think about any VAs, in my opinion, right? Some people do it sooner. I just don't think it makes sense. But then where people get stuck is they get to like 10, 15, even 20, and they're doing all the work themselves, but there's like no time. Like they're not enjoying themselves. I mean, it's enjoyable to make money, right? But like if you're working from the time you get up to the time you go to bed and you're not able to grow your business past that point, it's not super enjoyable. So like the second stage is the leverage stage. You first start bringing in a VA. In VAs, there's a cost of living difference. So there's a big, they call it BPO industry in the Philippines, business process outsourcing. So that's why a lot of businesses will hire talent from other countries, especially US-based businesses, because the cost of living is way different. Also, the time zone is opposite. So if you're hiring like someone to edit, for example, you shoot during the day, the end of the day, you give them your photos and it's their morning. And so they edit during their workday. And so anyway, the second stage is a leverage stage, and it starts with VAs. You bring in VAs to help you, and then photographers, and that's kind of how you grow your business. And so, yeah, just a great tool. I'm glad you brought that up, Tyler. What do you think? So what did you do to get clients at the start? Because I know you didn't do like the traditional path that a lot of people follow with the Instagram method and that kind of stuff. Like, how did you actually get clients?
So I should have, that's the one thing that I did not follow in the course, but I had the ability, I had friends in real estate, so I did have that upper level right there. But I'm born and raised where I'm from, and I just started reaching out, texting people. I know that's not allowed, but that's what I did. But if you do it in a way that's personable, it doesn't come off as, I'm not trying to sell you something. I guess I'm trying to sell you a service, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you. And I was offering something, like we say now, something of quality, something of value to benefit them. And that's what you had to sell them on. And I did very quickly.
So you just put yourself out there. I mean, you got in contact just in a different method with people, as many as you could.
And
but not only that,
day,
the more I've gone to know Tyler and all that, he's very personal. Like he was saying, whenever he's talking to someone, he's not trying to be like this big corporation or anything. He's just being himself. And I think that's one of the reasons why his clients and everyone that gets to meet him, just like eventually, like, I want to continue being friends with this dude because like, he's just being himself. While a lot of people that I've noticed, like one of the biggest mistakes that they do is just like, they try to pretend to be somebody that they're not. And so it comes off as fake. And so agents can definitely tell that, like humans themselves can definitely tell that when you're not being yourself. And so whether you're texting, like he was saying, you're not supposed to be texting and all that, but like he made it so personal that the agent was like, oh, okay, yeah, let me reply to this random number, whatever, and like that's something that I really like about how he's just himself.
Yeah. Well, anybody can do that too. I think the problem is not even like, being personable is a skill and it helps. But if you just act yourself, you're going to do a lot better than someone that's introducing themselves as we have this and my company this and all this stuff where it's just not about the person, you know. And I think, Tyler, you do that really well, like just naturally. That's why you've grown so fast. Is there anything, like, if you could go back, not join coaching sooner or whatever, but like if you could go back and restart, is there anything in your business you would have done differently or more quickly?
Oh, yeah. Okay, for one, I would have hired a VA when I would have started hitting the initial 7,000 revenue mark. I would have hired way, way, way sooner. And that's something that they tell you in coaching. I don't think that's really announced a bunch in the offered course. But I would have had one ready to go, and then once that one's ready to go, then you're able to bring on another one. I mean, when I went to that mastermind in Nashville and you said give you a number and I said 1 million and you said you need 7 photographers to hit $83,000 a month, I went home and I hired 4. And now I've got 3. And the other one, she's got her own real estate photography business. We won't talk about her. She's still a really good friend of mine, but she knew what she could make, and so it just didn't work out. Yeah. But 3 is great, especially when July slowed down a little bit. I'm away for 4 days this week and next week. I have people making me money while I'm here making me money, so that's double income. So right there, that's telling you, like, I'm doing it right. I'm doing it. So hiring sooner, hired a VA sooner, and really just, I know I put myself out there, but I wish I would have done the brokerage presentations a little more seriously. I did them, and I was, honestly, the reason why I didn't do them sooner was because I was so busy. Like, you guys told me, Tyler, you're too busy. Like, I was bringing in 25 plus new clients a month as a solo photographer. I mean, I did the 30K as a solo photographer. And that's when Kenny was like, you got to do something, man. You got to get it done. And I literally would schedule my phone calls with Kenny. I'm like, listen, I know what I got to do, but I just need you to tell me what I got to do. Like, you just need to sit me down and tell me. But no, coaching has honestly, without it, I mean, I'm sure I would still continuously increase, but it's boosted me to a whole other level and has opened so many more doors sooner. And I mean, like, this year I'm already, I wish I would have never accumulated the student debt, but I'm paying down student debt. I'm getting ready to buy a house towards the end of the year. My loan officer, we're ready to go now, but she's like, let's wait till the election thing. So essentially I would have bought a house this year because of coaching.
Wow.
It's just, I think about where I was making $550 a week, basically 7 days a week, shoveling horse shit, riding horses, working literally 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. sometimes. And then if we're at a horse show, like, that's where I am today, guys, if you're wondering why I'm here. But I did photography in horse show industry before real estate. And I'm still kind of weeding myself out of it in the low profit ones. But this is a pretty profitable one. I just wish I would have started this way sooner. I saw Eli's stuff on Instagram, and I was bookmarking it and saving it and bookmarking it. And then one night, you know how it is when you're laying in the bed and you're just scrolling and you see it, and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. So I put in a lot of credit card details and booked my initial call and started the next day, and obviously fast forward to today. So I just wish I would have done it, the course, sooner.
I think that's course or not, I think that's everybody's regret with business stuff, and it's just hard to understand that. Everybody does it to themselves. Like, if I look back at my business, my biggest regret was not finding someone that's done what I wanted to do and just learning from them. I just had this idea that no one in the real estate media industry, I didn't feel like there's anybody out there, which was so stupid because there was. But that's why it took so long to grow. Like, it took me 5 years to get where you are in a year and a half. And so I try to do that because I messed that up in my business in the first place. So now with my business, I'm very aggressive with that kind of stuff. I pay a lot of money for everything related to learning because it's the way you compress time. And I think that's really important. Slightly different question I have for you. So you're someone, there's probably a good handful of people here that are doing between $1,000 and $4,000 a month, which is great. I mean, if you're doing zero, dang, there's a lot of mosquitoes out here. If you're doing zero, $1,000 a month sounds awesome, but when you're stuck between 1,000 and 4,000, it's not so great. Like you want to grow. It's not enough to live off of really for most people. What would you do if today you were at 4,000 a month? Like what would be your first step tomorrow and for the next couple months?
I just now, and I hope this answers the question, and Kenny can tell you, I just decided like less than 2 weeks ago to weed out the free shoots. The free shoots is what got me to where I was. I was doing free shoots at $30,000. Like, I did not care who you were. You got 25 free photos, and then you got 50% off every additional service. Another thing that, you know, I'm glad that I did that I think some people lack at is they think they're not ready for a service. When I started and you guys were saying just do it, figure it out. I bought the Matterport or the Z Theta, whatever. I had my camera, I had the lens, I downloaded Cubicasa. I offered every service right out the start. I didn't. When they asked me if they said, Tyler, can you do this? I said, yes, but I haven't done a lot. So can you let me do it and bear with me? And I had more confidence as I went on. Even if I'd only done it 2 or 3 times at that point, I knew that I could do it. So I said yes. There was no maybe, but I gave discounts out the butt.
You did what it took to get people to use you, because then you could show them your value is kind of what you're saying, right?
Yep. Yeah. And
Taylor,
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask, because a lot of people are essentially scared of doing that because they're like, I don't know how to shoot video. I don't know how to do this and that. What made you overcome that fear?
Rep editing. Just kidding. No.
Well, it's video and like any services in general. That's the main reason.
I wanted to make money. I don't know. He wanted to make some money.
Really, it just takes doing it. Like if I didn't know how to do something, I whipped it out and did it at my house. And even then, like people were not ordering 1 minute long videos. They were ordering 15 and 30. But I was going home and sending in orders for rep editing at 60-second videos like that. And I'm like, I know you didn't order this, but I'm going to give you this. Because I was so amazed with, you might not think that your video is going to be good, but try it. If you're not trying it, then that's your first loss. You need to try it to know like what you can do. And then you do it and you see, okay, I could have done this better there. Okay, well, you know that for next time. Do it. And honestly, I would say my big boost of like, oh my gosh, I can't keep up with my clients was because I was fixing, especially in video, like what was not working. And everyone wants to work with me. Everyone saves me further. Even if they have their loyal photographers, no one in my area, now if someone's in here listening that's in my area, like I guess it's competition, but you can't deliver what I've delivered, right now at least. And it's kind of like where I've had that conversation with Kenny. You know, when I started coaching, I had to make the decision. Do you want to scale or do you want to be creative and deliver, you know, these cinematic videos? And I do. That essentially one day I want to do that, but goal number 1 is to make money. And to learn how to do that, I've got to be able to have a steady income so that I can take time for myself, because that's something that I want to do. Some people have other hobbies. You've got to make sure to stabilize yourself before you can do something else. And my goal was to grow, and I grew, and I hired, and I'm working on it.
So what's next?
100%.
What do you want to see big picture wise?
I already told you this. I want 1 million revenue.
There you go.
So honestly, like what's next is expansion. I've got 2 other places in mind. And really, I think, you know, one thing that, like you said, don't wait. And this is something that I think I shouldn't be waiting on, but I am, because I want to make sure that I have all my P's and Q's in a row here. But put someone there. I'm going to fly them, or not fly them. I'm going to have them come down towards me. I'm going to put them up in a hotel. I'm going to teach them everything I know, and then I'm going to take them there. But I know people in that area too, and they know me, and they know my personality, and they know I will do whatever it takes to make it right. You've got to, don't be a butt. Like, oh, this agent is being rude. Like, what do? I don't want to give him a discount. Give him a discount, okay? Like, if I get it, if you need the money, that's one thing. But if you're not gonna kill yourself by losing $30,
Yeah.
lose to $30. Like,
well, that's how you make the money in the long term. It's
Yeah.
very easy to get like really short term money driven, and when you have that attitude, you don't make any short term money or any long term money.
mhm.
So you don't actually get either. It's one of these. It's a kind. I think it's a Hormozy quote, but it's like, do you want to be right or do you want to be rich? And the quote is kind of like, you know, it's a strong quote, but like the idea behind it is really good too. It's like there's sometimes you have to make decisions about like, hey, like this client's being a pain and they're asking for a discount because this happened. Like, you're right, you don't have to give them a discount, but if you just suck it up and you do it, they're probably going to use you again in the future and you're going to make more money overall. And so it's like, I think the thing that people do really well that grow fast, Tyler, you're an example of that, and a lot of other people who've built businesses, is they're willing to make today suck so tomorrow's better, right? And so like that happens at every part of your business. It's like when you join coaching, like you don't want to pay for it, right? That makes today suck more. So you do it and then you get better. You put in the work. You didn't want to work from 6 a.m. to freaking midnight the days you did. Like, I know that wasn't the most enjoyable thing on earth, right? But like you did that because it's going to make your tomorrow better. And then you do that enough and all of a sudden you don't have to anymore,
Exactly.
right? Like where a lot of people struggle, in my opinion, is they if they were willing to make their days 20% harder, they could overall have a lot less hard. It's just going to be harder up front and they're going to have a much better life later. And I know that's a basic thing, but it's just so true. And it's like, you have to, sometimes you just got to do the stuff that sucks in front of you for a little bit to prevent the entire rest of your life sucking in the financial sense, right? Like, talking about business here. So I think that's something it's really hard for a lot of people to do. So if you're sitting here and you're like, man, like, why is my business not growing? My guess is you're not putting in enough work today because there's pain involved with that work. And you just got to do it. Like that's all it comes down to. It's less painful overall. If you actually like look at the time frame of life, it is less painful if you choose your pain now. There's a quote I like too. It's like, you choose your pain now, and then you get the pain out of the way, right? And if you don't choose your pain, it chooses you when and how it decides. And it's usually later in life. You don't have money. There's stuff going on. You never built that business. You have regret. You have financial issues. Not saying starting a business fixes that, right? There's challenges, but it's just a big thing that, eat the frog, as said in the comments here. I think that was Cassie said that. So totally agree. Like, you got to do the work.
There's tons of excuses that you could make, but the people that I've seen that have grown the most are the ones who are like, all right, there's photographers in my area. All right, cool. I'll be the fifth.
I'm
50th,
best friends
whatever.
with my competition. Like, I literally, so the other day, my photographers had been with me for about a month and a half. I told them, I was like, okay, I want everyone to like meet everyone. So I booked a bay at Top Golf, and there was like 10 of us. One of the guys that came he has his own company, and like, we have a community folder of amenities. This is when I was solo, like, and he was solo. We were just adding our amenity folders together so that, like, hey, do you have this? Yeah, I've got this. Because he's more on like the north end of the beach. I'm more on like the south end. So there's so many communities too and resorts. It's like impossible. It just saves us time. Yeah. So I help him. He helps me. One of my thankful things that I've experienced with Kenny, there was a part where I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I need to like evolve my business with his and like bring him on and we can combine our clients. No, do not do that. Do not. Build the business yourself. And like, that's
a good save.
I get it that I don't have a lot of experience with the Instagram method, but I will tell you right now, I started the Instagram method 3-4 days ago. I've already got 3 yeses. I've got 0 no's. Now, the video that I sent them along with the message, I was recording that video. It turned dark. I was literally videoing it for 3 hours because I wanted it to be
good,
me, but like, if you have this is your business. You're going to deliver what you want to deliver. If you're going to deliver half crap stuff, that's on you. You know, this is your first initial contact with people that you're not working with. One girl said, I can't hear the video, but I can tell from your video that you mean business. Send me over your pricing. I have a listing in August. And
oh my God.
I said, I know it's on her because like my other people can hear it, but I said, oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing. But yes, sure thing. What's your email? So
dude, that's like, awesome. That's what people don't see. It's like, you see the successful people, you don't see them putting in the work. Like, You did that. There's no one I know that hasn't. Like Kenny, when he first started working with me, he did the craziest stuff, first of all, to get that opportunity. And then he built a business, him and I together, video editing. He literally would, like, I don't know how he did it. He would be up almost not sleeping all night, freaking editing the videos himself to build that business. And now he has, you know, we built a great business with that. He's built a great business with that. So it's like, there's nobody that I've talked to that has done anything that didn't do that stuff. That, like, no one saw the 3 hours you spent, Tyler, doing that. No one saw the time that Kenny, he moved, it's a long story short, but he moved to Texas to initially work with us. And then I moved to Florida and he moved to Florida and he didn't have a house. So he stayed in a freaking extended stay a couple years ago. So he's in this like shite hotel editing videos all night to build that business. And now he makes a lot of money from the great business he built. So it's like, there's nobody, I like what you said, Cassie, there's nobody that gets around eating the frog. Like, you got to do the freaking hard work at the start. And that's what pays you in the future. And that's just a good example of it, Tyler. Like, no one will ever see that time that you spent trying to make that good because it's your business. You care about it. And you know that the effort you put in is rewarded. And that's why I've seen people send like 500 DMs and not get very many results because they just like lazy did it. It's like, you send 500 crappy DMs, it's not going to help you. And so, yeah, I couldn't agree more. I forget where I was going with that, but do the work, eat the frog.
Yeah, don't wait. Like, I've had a website that literally says under construction for like probably 8 months now. It's like, people are like, what do I need to start like a website. I need to do all this. No, you don't.
No,
no, you don't.
You need to make some
Pick
money.
your delivery platform. I use Spiro. Like, people ask me all the time, like, what photo delivery do you use? I use Spiro. I started with Aereo. Like Jared said, he likes something that fluctuates with the business. And just do it. Like, when they say,
you don't overthink it. That's the thing. You're not just like, oh, should I do this or this for ages, you know? Okay, let's do this. So we're 30 minutes in. There's 62 people here, and I'm sure you guys have questions. So if you have a question for Tyler or Kenny and I, just drop it in the chat, and we'll do some Q&A. Tyler, you good to hang out for like 30 more minutes of Q&A?
Listen, I'm all ears.
Perfect. Well, ask your questions. We'll start with CY Photography's What's the Instagram Method? So, Kenny, can you like briefly go over the process, and then we'll go from there?
Instagram method. You create an awesome professional profile that basically highlights you and your work. After that, you find agents in your area, you engage with the profile, and then you send them a DM offering a free shoot. That's like a super quick overview.
Cold outbound. It's reaching out to people. It's so interesting. I filmed a video out here earlier. It'll post on YouTube eventually, but I was like talking about, you know, what makes people successful in this business, and it's directly proportional to the amount of people that you talk to. Directly proportional. Now, you can increase your success by having a higher conversion rate if you do it better, but like, it's better to have a 1% conversion rate and reach out to 1,000 people or 2,000 people than it is to have a 100% conversion rate, reach out to one. So it's like, it is just truly a numbers game, and that's what the Instagram method helps you do. Jaden, yes, absolutely send an Instagram or send a video.
So like, this is just a quick, like, what mine is, just so you guys know. And there was, I can't remember his name, and I'm so sorry because he's on this chat. I saw him say something at the beginning, but like, he reached out to me and he's like, I'm like, what do I need to do? I'm sending messages. I'm not getting feedback. I'm not going to call him out, but he had one photo on his thing. And I told him, I was like, listen, you got to post more. You can, like, I don't even know what you do. So that's step one. Make sure you've got the posts on there that, you know, some work that you're doing. And he said that he's going to go shoot something up and that he was going to post it and stuff. So that's, step one. And then use them. I use emojis. I'm very expressionate. I'm like, I got emojis on like on lock. But I mean, I basically said, I said, hey, Jack. And then I said, you know, what I was offering him. And then I said, you know, I realized you might have a photographer and that's great. I said, but if I interest you, please reply and I will send over that information.
Yeah.
And like I said, I got 3 replies in 3-4 days. So
that's crazy. Kenny, can you pull up just on your phone that demo profiles? Like, one of the things that is a requirement if we're going to help someone do the Instagram method is they have to have at least 9 posts on their account, because that fills out your grid. And of those 9 posts, at least like 4 of them need to be pictures of you. It can be like a selfie of you introducing yourself. You have someone take photos of you shooting your own house, like some behind the scenes photos, like putting the work to show people who you are. We talk about with the Instagram method and with creating an Instagram account for your company, that's like your salesperson for your business, your 24/7 virtual salesperson, right? So when you send a DM, like when Tyler sends that message, he sends a really good DM. There's a video in there. That's awesome. But one of the first things those clients are going to do is they're going to click on his Instagram and they're going to go check him out, make sure he's real. If you have one photo and it's of a house, you're never going to get any, traction with your Instagram method stuff. So when it comes to setting up the profile, we've done 3 live Instagram profile critiques that show you how to do that. Go to the lives tab here on my YouTube and you'll see those and you can watch them. Tyler, you were on the last one when we did the critique, I think.
Yes, I was.
So you get more of Tyler over there. Also, Rod on my team just joined, so glad to have you in here, Rod.
Thank you.
All right. Let's.
What I miss? I feel like I missed so much.
You did.
You missed my life story.
Just say it again real quick for everybody.
No.
From 0 to 30K in a year and a half. That's the life story.
That's crazy.
The whole life.
It's
okay.
I don't know. It's pretty crazy to see what people do here. I've been around like business coaching, multiple industries, and I don't know. It's just pretty wild to see what actually people are doing here, coaching or not. It's like an incredible industry. So
it is. Okay. Gene said, what tasks does a VA do for you? I imagine they do Instagram method. What else? I don't think Tyler's having to do the Instagram method yet, but Tyler, what does your VA Joseph do for you?
Instagram method.
Okay. He does.
Instagram method. Anytime I get this is the one thing that I'm switching to that I wish I would have done. Back to that question was get open phone if you plan to scale. I have a separate phone and it was great whenever it was just me because my bubbles are blue. But now I'm screenshotting, working off of 2 separate phones. So basically what he's asking, I screenshot something. I'll send it to my VA via Facebook Messenger. He sends me a screenshot back, letting me know that it's done. I have never used voice memos so much in my life now, but anytime I need something done, I'm like,
you, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I gave my VA probably 3 months of like limited access. And then one of the things that, as a coach, they're going to ask you, what are bottlenecks in your business? What are you spending time doing that you can delegate work to someone else? I'm like, scheduling, giving discounts, adding, changing services. Yeah. So right then and there, I'm like, okay, super admin. There you go, Joseph. Because I don't know like what I've got to unlock. And like I could schedule something with Todd and figure that out. But I'm the kind like, if he wants to delete my business, I'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
But I just gave him full access. I trust him. And I just gave my second VA full access. So now both of them, listen, I have them. I asked my VA, kind of like Eli tells you to like find a friend. And then if that friend knows someone, hopefully they're going to refer someone that they think is going to be beneficial to the business. Well, I asked my VA, I was like, do you know anyone? And he's like, yeah, my neighbor 15 minutes down the road, Jim. And there's been times where, hey, Tyler, Jim's Wi-Fi is out. He's coming over to use my thing or something like that. And it's so great because I just tell them if I want something done in the morning and in the evening, I say, Zoom with each other. Figure it out. So then Joseph taught Jim how to use Spiro, and now they both are very...
That's so awesome.
I gave Scott... I shared Jim with Scott. Yes. He does everything. I literally pick up a camera and upload. He messages with honestly, he probably does too much. If I was going to scale any more, I'm going to need to take some off of his plate and either move him into more of a VA admin role or something, because like he does full contact with my editor. He does everything, like literally everything.
I mean, that's what scaling is, right? So for everybody that's asking what a VA is a virtual assistant. Typically, the VA industry, the virtual assistant industry, is very large in the Philippines. And so when most people say a VA, it's usually someone who lives in the Philippines that works remotely for you virtually, right? So any task that doesn't require them physically to be there is what people use VAs for. And VAs are awesome. It's just like hiring somebody for your team, though. You have to pick the right one. You have to train them well. You have to manage properly. As far as there's a lot of questions about cost for a VA. It depends. Generally, $1,000 a month to $1,500 a month is kind of the area. You'll find some cheaper. You'll find some more. But that's a pretty good range. You have to remember that the cost of living is extremely different in the Philippines. And so $1,500 a month is a pretty significant income. It's much higher than the national average there. So because of that, usually if you can't afford the type of talent that you want in the US because their cost of living is just so high, that they have to be paid more, you can find really great talent in the Philippines. And we live in a world with the internet, so you can, it's a global world. You can use and have people on your team that are not just in the US. So yeah, VAs, that's my like endorsement for VAs.
And my thing, I want to tell people right now, they are people, and I literally could not do it without them, and I let them know that. Like,
yes.
I when I met Joseph, I was constantly asking him, I'm like, what do you need from me? What can I do differently? Where are you struggling? Where can I help? And even like now, I think it was like 2 or 3 months ago, I sent a long text and I was like, thank you so much for everything you have done.
Yeah.
What are we having issues with? And this is before I switch editors. He's like, Tyler, honestly, like, I'm really struggling with the editor. They're not doing what they need to do. And so we talked to the editor. They said they would fix it. They didn't fix it. We gave them tries, talked to Kenny about it, and we switched editors. And he's very happy with who we're working with now. So, their opinions matter. They play a
100%.
50%, yeah, probably more than 50% role in my business. They do the invoicing, like they do so much. I can't talk about it, and the amount of time that it takes to talk about it.
People just think of like, they say VA, so they think of it's like some software. Like it is literally a regular person who happens to live in the Philippines, and everything else applies. You have to manage well, you have to treat them well, you have to pay well, you have to do all this stuff. And if you do that, you can build a great team, a remote team. So people asking how you find VAs, there's a website called onlinejobs.ph. I'll put it in the chat here. That's the primary one where you can, it's kind of like Indeed, but specifically for VAs, and it's onlinejobs.ph, like Philippines. So great place to find VAs. We have great VAs on our team in all parts of our business, right? They handle, accounts receivable and payable. They answer emails. They, Aaron's assistant, executive assistant, Naomi's awesome. She lives in the Philippines. Like, I hate to even use the word VA. They're just literally a remote team.
I literally address my people by their name every single time. I start every Zoom call with, how are you? What did you do today? How's the weather? How's your family? Like, Joseph's got 2 kids, a wife. Jim, he's got kids. Like, I talk to them as if they are a regular employee. So.
Yeah, they are. It's just people mess it up with that, which I think is, first of all, kind of rude when people don't treat them well. But like, second of all,
for sure.
Like, it's not how you run a team. Okay, what other questions does everybody have?
Here's a good one.
Please,
really good one.
Pin it.
It's for Tyler specifically, because Austin says, do you have any tips during the free shoot to help ensure they will work with you again?
Yes. Okay, first off, you walk in, you say, how are you? And then you figure out, how long have you been in the area? How long have you been? And now if you're like me, you can only talk so much before you start forgetting to shoot specific rooms, because that's happened to me. Like, I'm a talker, and I forgot rooms before. And you just go back and you apologize head to toe, and you fix it. But you learn from that. So yes, free tips, or tips on free shoots. For one, you follow up with them when you deliver. Now, this was before I switched to Spiro. I didn't do the Loom thing, and I'm starting to implement the Loom thing. And if you don't know what we're talking about, basically, you walk them through their first shoot with you on how to deliver the products. If you have Spiro, you walk them through the social media stuff on how, like, the templates, what a web res is, what a print quality is. In my area, we're limited to 40 MLS photos. A lot of new agents, which is who I work with, that's who I gear my... Like, that's my clientele, because I started pretty recently. Like, some of them don't even know that you can only put 40 photos in, and they're like, Tyler, it's not working. And I'm like, did you do 40? Like, I over deliver always on your first shoot, and even still to this day, I over deliver. I do not care. I even told Joseph, I was like, hey, like, make sure we're not sending this X amount, and he'll still message me. He's like, Tyler, you took this amount, and I was like, just deliver it. Like, they're good people, they're good clients. All my clients are VIP clients, and when you treat them like that, they're going to stick with you. They're going to change photographers, or they're going to make you their main photographer. And if you want to, I don't upsell to make more money. I upsell to provide them value for their services. And I think this was a big thing that me and Kenny shared for a while, whenever I was like getting all these new clients, and I was still making a crap ton of money because I was able to upsell at 50% off. Like, they got the 25 free photos, and You know,
So you were
sometimes.
offering a base shoot for free, and then you were like, by the way, anything else you can
Yeah,
get 50%
it's your
off
first
of.
shoot. Like, you might as well get a video. You might as well, you know, do a 3D tour. Like, and
Yeah.
sometimes I would even walk in and they have already done multiple shoots with me. Of course, like they're your VIP clients. Test some things out.
Yep.
I did a 3D tour with this one on Zillow, and now they get it every single time. So I rack in $100 in 15 minutes
Yeah.
every single time.
That is an underutilized thing. So it's something we try to talk about as much as we can. But if you get people using more of your services, whether you have to give it for free, give them a discount, whatever, they will more than likely do that again in the future, which gives you higher average order value. I was talking yesterday. I don't know if it was it was the launch group coaching call. I was like, the worst feeling is when, 3 years into working with a client, they're like, do you shoot video? And then you're like, yeah. And they're like, oh, I've been hiring another videographer for 3 years. I wish I would have known that you did that. And you're like, I told you like 10 times, like I sent emails. People do not know your services as well as you do. And so the thing that Tyler did that like set him up so well for the future is he exposed his clients. They don't forget if you offer video, if they ordered one before, because they've seen it, they've used it. And so that's a huge, can you guys hear the screaming in the background, by the way? Is that loud? I'm not even kidding. There's wild parrots in Miami. And across the like water here, there's a tree with a parrot, and it hears noises in the environment, and then it makes those noises like over and over. Anyway, what Tyler said there is like so important. Like exposing your clients to your products is so good. That happens so much with Matterport, with everything.
Yes, and like sometimes like one of my best clients, like she switched from our #1 photographer in our area to me just because they didn't do what she wanted. Like she just wanted a little bit more detail, and I offered that right off the bat. But she sent me to go do, she's like, I'm so sorry, like I'm sorry this is not worth your time. It was a drone only, $95. I didn't care. I delivered that drone photos, and I delivered them a drone video of that entire community. And what did they do? Oh my gosh, Tyler, I didn't even think about that. Can you go do XYZ community? And right then and there was like 7 more bookings on my schedule that were video, which is obviously way more profitable and easier than photos. And I was literally on a coaching call with Kenny doing that free shoot right there that day.
Dude,
and
because
of that,
good.
yes.
100%. We had one where we did a community shoot for an agent, exact same story. It's one of our bigger clients now, actually. And it was a small community in Granbury, the place where we started. He immediately called me after I delivered that and paid me $5,000 to go out and shoot a bunch of other community photos. It took me less than a day. I literally batched them all out and just did it. And it was $5,000. It's like, you never know. I think the thing that it's really important to keep in mind is when you're first starting, what you're really looking for is opportunity. And you get opportunity by putting yourself out there and giving stuff to people, showing, like, you have to create it, right? By being resourceful. You show them these things. So I love that you said that, because that happens. That's not like what Tyler's saying, what everybody we have on here that's built a business is not like this, oh, they got lucky one time thing. It was like they just did enough of the stuff to like be ready to get those opportunities. So
I don't have
a structure. There's no structure with me. Like,
yeah. The agent was like, it's not worth your time. And a lot of people say that, like, it's not usually the agent, it's the photographer saying it's not worth my time to go out there and shoot just photos. Tyler went out there, and instead of just shooting photos, he also added video. And it's something that we talked about, Eli. It's like, what will make the client happy?
Yeah.
And so Tyler knew that, and he used that to his advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally, like, one of our company values is we love our clients. And if you act like that, you make so much money and you have so many happy clients. And I don't know about you, but like, if you made a lot of money and all your clients were mad, that's a horrible business. And if you don't make a lot of money and all of your clients are happy, that's not a good business either. So it's like the happy thing like makes everybody work with you longer, makes them refer you, it makes them continue to book you shoot after shoot, makes your life enjoyable. And it's like a very simple formula. And I hope that's what everybody listening sees when I bring people on like Tyler, who's just crushing it. It's like they just go out of their way to serve their clients well and develop good relationships. And it's the money follows. Like, you don't hunt the money first. Like, you hunt the stuff that's going to create the money. That being said, what other questions do you guys have? All right.
My VA just started. He just texted me.
So that means you have it's like a good time of day when your team starts,
Yeah.
Safety going forward. Okay, let's see. Do you do any like kickbacks for your clients if they refer you, Tyler, or do you just thank them?
Oh yeah, listen. I was doing $50 referral credits obviously the initial client gets the free shoot, and that client would get $50. But I just kind of changed some things in my business, and I bumped it up to 75. So if you refer me, you get $75, and they're eating it up. They are eating it up. And
Yeah.
I tell that that's another thing. If you're working with someone for the first time, for one, you're going to go in there, whether you know what you're doing or not, you're going to act like you do, and you're going to say, oh, and by the way, like, just so you know, obviously this shoot's free, but if you refer me, you get $75 off future listings. So there's opportunity. And I know, like, you're not really supposed to bribe people, but I'm telling people now, like, if you give me a Facebook review, $25. If you give me a Google review, $25. And what do? I tell Joseph, I say, hey, check these reviews. If so-and-so gives it, make sure you credit them $25. So, like, that's a task for me, but I'm delegating it, buying back my time. Obviously, when you just got to start. You got to let the ball rolling. And as the ball's rolling, you're going to figure out, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And keep the energy. I was down in July, and I'm back up.
Yeah.
So we're good.
So I guess question for you, Rod. You obviously talk with a lot of people that we work with in coaching. What do you see? Like, I guess, what do you see for people that aren't having the success like Tyler is, that are kind of doing it themselves? Like, is there a common trend? I mean, is it they're indecisive? Is it they're worried about competition? Or what are some of the things you hear a lot that you think stopping people?
How do I answer this? Things they're so sure are stopping them is never what's actually stopping them. If I can answer it that way, that's exactly it. Like I'm like looking at their business, I'm looking at their numbers, and they're telling me certain things. Like, I live in a certain area, and I'm looking at the area, and I'm like, oh, I know this area is crushing that. You know people that crush it in the area. And then they're also telling me, well, the area is really bad. That's why I haven't been able to scale. The area is really bad. I'm like, oh, I know people. I had one person really worried about Knoxville, where Mike's business is in Knoxville. So it's like, I don't know. It's a pretty good area. But they were so convinced the area was not good, and that's why they weren't doing well. So I think we're so good at convincing ourselves that something is the problem in the business. And if we just do this, everything will be solved. But it's 100 golden BBs, like you say, Eli. It's hundreds of little things that together collectively make this work well, to where you're at, competitive level as good as the ones around you. If not, the goal is to be better. So it's like, I would say it's
easy to let stuff. It's easy to there's a phrase around that, but it's like the easiest person to deceive is yourself. And I know just from like my story building my business, I mean, the reason I grew slow is because I deceived myself in about 1,000 different ways. I would think a number that was huge or that was tiny was huge. I'd be like, wow, like you're really, like, I'd convince myself you're really killing it, Eli. And it's like, no. Like, I was making $3,000 a month, and I thought that was a lot. I thought that was a ton in the business, and I thought that I had to learn everything myself was another way I deceived myself. I thought for the longest time that it was impossible to train somebody to do what I did, which is so funny because it's like, it wasn't coming from a place of arrogance. I just was like, it's going to be impossible. I'm like, wait a second. If I'm saying I'm the only one that can do this, isn't that indirectly saying something about myself of like, I'm so good, I'm the only one that can do this? It's like, when I started thinking of it that way, I was like, wait a second. Like, I have this thing now where, whenever someone's struggling with believing they can train somebody, I'm like, well, if they can train a neurosurgeon, I promise you can train a photographer. Like, I just guarantee you can. And so that is so true. I love what you said on that. All right. What other questions does everybody have in here? We got about 5 minutes left with Mr. Tyler. So let's see. I'll just answer this one really quickly. It depends on your state, but a good starting place is either State Farm or Hiscox. Those are both good insurers. Let's see.
I don't know if it's an option, but I have, what is it, PPE or?
Yeah, there's a photographer insurance too. I
just got it because my friend was like, this is what I have, and it covers up to X amount.
Just any insurance that's decent price is good, honestly. All right, let's see. Fernando, that doesn't really matter in this industry. It's not really what we're doing, so wouldn't worry about that too much. Same thing with you, Jaden. Like, I wouldn't really recommend growing on Instagram. Like, I would try to find your ideal clients and reach out to them. So I guess that is growing, but it's like followers is irrelevant. You know what I mean? In this business, you just need to use your Instagram as a tool to reach out to people. You're not waiting for people to follow you. They will follow you, but like, that's not the goal. All right, let's see. There was a question I wanted to hit here. Gene said, I've heard you guys say photos sell the house and video sells the agent. How exactly does video sell the agent? So yeah, what we mean by that, Gene, is like, if you go to Zillow and you look at houses for sale, you're not seeing the video, right? You're just seeing the houses. Like, that's, you see a house you like, you call the agent, you get a listing. The video usually has the agent in there, and it's a tool they can use to promote themselves on social media. So it's kind of like an asset that they can use to grow their business. Sure, it'll sell the house occasionally, but like most of the time, the agents know that they're ordering that video for their brand, to make their brand look better.
And I will say, don't be afraid to tell them to do it over. Like, they're just as scared to get in front of the camera as anyone who is not getting in front of the camera. I have been pushing myself to get in front of the camera for probably the last month, and it has gotten to the point where I'm able to do it now in like the first or second try. You just gotta, and that's what, like, one of my best clients, he literally told me, he's like, I went home and told my mom, because she's also like my best client. He was like, I just told her, I said, you are, my first time working with you, I was uptight, but you're just so easy to work with, and like, you make sure I don't look stupid on camera. Obviously, if they look stupid when you video it, you're not going to want to deliver them a video where they look stupid. So retake the video.
It's in your best interest to fix that. Yeah. Jay said, how do you identify agents on Instagram? So Jay, if you go to Instagram, you go to the search. Let me pull it up so I can make sure I'm doing it right. You go to search, and in search, you're going to put like hashtag your city homes. So like hashtag Dallas homes, and that's going to give you a hashtag. I'll pull it up here. Hold on. You're going to go to accounts. Let's see, tags. Sorry, let me click on this. So you can see in here, there's 275 posts under Dallas homes, 275,000 posts. And most of these are going to be realtors. You could do Dallas realtor, Dallas whatever. So like, that's a good place to start. All right. Tyler, question for you from Casper. What did you change after joining coaching? Because like, you started with our course that we used to offer, and then you got in coaching. I think a lot of it was you had momentum and your business blew up. So like, I want to take that off the table. It wasn't just coaching, but like, what about coaching, do you think was helpful for you?
Coaching it's way more than just someone telling you like the next step. But I will say, if I had a question about anything I'm trying to even think, Kenny, as my coach, gave me the answer straight up. He would give you the form or tell you what you needed to do or tell you the experience of what someone else did. And if he didn't know it, he would ask another coach. You know, we're all a team here. We're going to work together. You know, I've provided other people VAs that needed it.
What was just, so VA was a big change, I guess. Obviously that was a big one. What are some other, like, or was it just a lot of little, like, do this, don't hit that boulder, you know, like, was there any other big stuff?
I mean, obviously, people are going to have questions left and right about what they should do for their business, and Kenny was the person that I would ask that to. But also, you know, coaching offers so many videos throughout the day that you can join live-wise, and if you want to get an in-person question from or answer from another coach, join it. Reserve your spot. Like, you are able to talk to someone at least Monday through Friday, you know, if you need to. So that was always something very beneficial and something that, you know.
Okay, that's something that I think a lot of people who are successful do, and people that aren't, that are in coaching don't. Like, we have people who join and they don't go to any group calls. I'm like, you have 6 months in coaching to work with us? Like, squeeze that sponge. I mean, it's like, you know, Colleen does a group call. She's awesome. She's built like I don't know how big at this point.
I love Colleen.
She's amazing, right? Like, Colleen's there. Sophie does a group call. Anthony does a group call. Like, all these awesome people. And I think what I'm trying to like sum up is you took stuff and actually put it into place. You took the opportunity in front of you. Whereas like some people, and in coaching or not, doesn't really matter. Like, you know, people will want to start a real estate media business, but then not binge watch all the videos they can possibly find that are, if they want to do the free route, right? Like, you have to be willing to like soak it up like a sponge at the start.
And like, that's the thing, like, I'm willing to like help someone, but why not do something that's going to boost? I made back what I spent on coaching within 30 days. Like that, I don't care.
Yeah.
The resources and the tools were at your fingertips. It was as hard. It was me that decided how quickly did I want to grow.
Yes.
And every time I needed something, I was like, okay, Kenny, I'm done. What's the next step? Like, and he was like, okay, this is what you got to do.
That's
and
very
I was
true.
like, okay, this is going to take me X amount of time.
That's very true. Yeah, Tyler was like, I'm done. What's next? Like, he wasn't just like, all right, I'm
when can we schedule our next call?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you mentioned that he was like, soak up all the information, but also do something about it. A lot of people I've seen in the comments like weeks ago, maybe we'll see it today too. Is like, I'm motivated, yes, and it's like, okay, do something about it. Like, maybe it's joining coaching, maybe it's not, but like, start your business, take action, do something about it.
It's the only thing that actually creates results, right? Like, I think a lot of people want to plan. I understand it. They want to like get everything perfect and then like go. Like, that's not how it works. No one's built a business doing that. That's just not. That's like the MBA approach where you like plan everything out. And MBAs are notoriously not great at building businesses. They might be good in the existing operation, but like that's kind of why, right? Because the planning, it's funny. So I hear people. I understand if you're like raising money and you get investors to different business, but like I hear people starting service businesses, whether it's real estate photography, lawn mowing, whatever, and they like write out this long business plan of like the first month's gonna look like this, and I'm gonna do this and this, and then the next month, I'm like, dude, in the second hour, that business plan is invalid. Completely invalid. Like it's something changed. Like, what if it doesn't go that way? You have to be willing to pivot and do stuff differently. And so I think the business plan attitude really hurts a lot of people. You have to be willing. You said this like many times in many different ways, Tyler. Like, you would just try stuff, right? Like, you weren't like, oh, I'm going to learn photos, videos, 3D tours and all this stuff, and I'm going to perfect it. I'm going to do 10 practice. You were just like, I'm going to put it on my website, and if someone orders it, I'll figure it out. And you did, right? And so it's a hard thing to like, if someone is a planner, you have to like, you're always, anybody starting a business, you're going to have advantages and disadvantages, right? So like Tyler, advantage, he really knows how to be personable, right? I don't know what his disadvantages were, but we all have them, right? I had advantages and disadvantages. There was like things I was very introverted. That was a disadvantage for me. My advantage was that I was really hungry to make this business work. And so I did what I had to. And so it's like, you got to weigh those. Everybody has different ones, but you're never going to like build a business by just sitting there trying to like fix those things or like plan something better. You just got to get in and start doing it, And it, there's a quote about courage. I think courage is not the absence of fear. It's doing the thing in spite of the fear. And I think I'm sure there's times where Tyler was like, I'm just going to make a guess. And Tyler, you tell me if this is accurate. There was at least one time where no one was around you. You were by yourself and you were like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Right? Like, is that true? Like,
listen, all the time. You know what I do? I put on some banging music that gets me motivated. I figure out and I make it work. Like, I was looking at today, I was trying to figure out some things on my calendar. I've got so many real estate events. I'm a part of the Women's Council. I'm a part of the YPN. I'm a part of my local CCAR affiliate. And, all these places, they're like, what do you need from us? And I was like, just sponsorship, just, a minute to speak. I mean, I had a broker the other day. This one I love. I've been trying to get in with this brokerage forever. It's Remax, and I shot one listing for him a long time ago for someone else that couldn't be there. And they asked me if I would do that listing for them. And I won't talk about that because I taught that girl everything she knew. But anyways, here we are a year later. He's like, Tyler, I just need 10 photos of my personal condo. He's like, what are you going to charge me? And I was like, $50 and a brokerage presentation, and you got yourself a deal. And he said, deal. And there we go. I've got a brokerage presentation at one of our largest brokerages in the area. And like, I would see him at these events. There was probably like 3 separate occasions where I was at a real estate event, and I would try to like ease in about a brokerage presentation, and he would just talk about it really quick, but then shove it off his shoulders and then continue on a conversation about something else. And I'm not the kind of person that's gonna like
follow it up. Yeah,
I read the room, and so that's what I was reading the room. But then I was like, okay, this is my time. It was a yes or no, and he said yeah, so it worked.
Dude, that's amazing. You shot your shot for sure, and I think a lot of people are scared to do that. That's awesome. Is that presentation's already happened or it's coming up?
No, it's coming up. I've got 3 booked. I was like, it was a low month in July, but it was good because like I was also training and taking them with me all the time. And it was a low month because I was also paying to train him. So like I felt like a
Yes.
low month in my business, which is fine. Like that's growth in the long run.
Yes. Yes.
And Kenny was like, okay, you need to like start the brokerage calls. I went home that day, called 12 brokerages, and texted agents that I was like really good friends with. I'm like, please get me in, please get me in. And they're like, what day? What day? We have a sales meeting on this day. Is this good? I said, yes, book it. What do you want? Chick-fil-A or this? And you just ask them. Don't be afraid. Like literally just do it. Just do it.
Yes.
Like, oh.
100%.
So I've got 3 booked in August.
100%. I hope everybody listening gets fired up. It makes me want to go book some brokerage presentations when I listen to Tyler. That's awesome.
I've got like a spreadsheet, and that's where the VAs come in. I'm like, okay, go look up all the brokerages in my area and put the phone numbers there. So when I get home after shooting all day, I'm going to go home and I'm going to call. And if you don't know, number 9 on your phone, you can, if you leave a voicemail and you mess up, click 9. You can re-record. There was one voicemail though that I couldn't re-record, and I let it it was literally waiting for 5 minutes, but I didn't know what to say.
Oh, yeah, I thought if you leave it long enough, it resets. That's funny. Number 9's a good thing though.
Something messed up though on that one, and I literally was like, hey Troy, this is Tyler. I run Western Media, local to the area. I would love to come in and offer you guys a brokerage presentation, but I messed up somewhere in there. And I literally said, crap, I messed up. Literally on the voicemail. So I was like, 99999, and it wasn't working. So
dude, that's probably the best voicemail he's ever got.
I texted an agent and the thing, and I was like, hey, can you ask your broker if I can do a brokerage presentation? And he said, yeah. So
I hope he heard that voicemail. I would book you if that happened. If some vendor called me and said, and then freaking hit 9 a bunch. Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
I know, it was.
Okay, here's a good one. How do you handle the fear of that? I'm sure you were scared, Tyler, of the agent. The agents can be kind of intimidating. Not really, but they're they want good photos. Did you have that? And how did you approach it?
Oh, listen, I'm not even gonna, there's so many rude agents out there. 2 of them right off the back. I'll try to be really quick. So one of them, he was like, oh, I referred you business. You're going to give me free drone photos, right? Okay, just because you gave me 2 clients, and this was when I first got started, so I didn't really have a referral thing. And I was already over delivering. You don't have to put up with that. That's going to hinder you in the long run. So don't even mess with that in the short run. I mean, if you need it, fine, but he killed my vibe, and I don't like to work with people that kill my vibe.
It's a real thing. You don't want that motivation, that mentality going down. Yeah.
Yeah, and he literally called me the other day, and it's been a year since I worked with him, and I didn't answer it on purpose, but I texted him, and I said, hey, I saw you called. How can I help you? And he said, oh, you missed out. I had to go with someone else. I'm like, dude, I literally texted you back within 10 minutes. And so, that's not someone you want to work with. I walk in, I'm like, hey, how you been? How's your kids?
Yeah.
How's your husband? Or anything like that. And the other one really quick. So when I started, obviously we start our prices pretty low, or I did at least. And this guy was like, hey, my photographer did Matterport 40 photos and a floor plan for $250. Can you do that? And my first initial reaction was yes. He was literally one of my first clients.
Yep.
A year into it, I literally texted him one day because I hated doing stuff for him. None of his listings were ever ready. They just got worse and worse and worse. And I was like, listen, I have to go up on pricing. This is what it's going to be. I'm still going to give you a discount, but this is what your new thing's going to be. And he said, I thought this day was coming sooner or later. And he still used me for a couple more, but he honestly, his listings weren't.
Dude, that's how it is though. You start at the start, you'll take any business, right? But then as your business gets busier, that's part of scaling is being okay, now I get to pick which business I want. That's not the business I want, So, dude, that's perfectly executed though, because I think a lot of people, you didn't make this mistake. What a lot of people do is they're like, that's not going to work for me in the future, therefore I'm not going to do it now. And it's that is not the right attitude because you need the opportunity. Like you said, he referred you. You're going to make it work when you need it, and then when you don't, you ditch it. A lot of people. One of the common ones, are you willing to prep a house a little bit, Tyler? Do you do some tightening up?
Oh, 100%. I know you're not supposed to do it start to finish, but I do. I did from the start.
No, I think.
And you learn though, and as in coaching, I got Spiro, and Todd hosts a call, and if you have any questions, I got my getting ready guide set up, and so now my business went from being me to, like I said, the ball rolling to where everything starts to become automated agents are booking their shoot. When they book it, if they put the homeowner in, they get a getting ready guide. The resources are there. Whether you use it is up to you. And
Yeah.
I utilize it. I spend my time is very valuable to me. It's how you value your time. And my average order value, it averages, but I think it's like right around. It sticks between 350 to 397 sometimes.
Nice.
So I
That's
mean,
good.
it's there, and
Super
that's
healthy.
I just started taking away the free shoots.
Oh shoot! So that's factoring in the freeze.
Oh,
That's really good.
100%.
Ooh, so
Listen,
you're gonna be
like
like
I said, I
450.
don't upsell to upsell. I upsell to bring value to the clients, and they realize that. I've said this to Kenny in the past. I'm like, I have clients that literally say, I don't care, do what you think. Like, they want me
Yeah.
on the site, like, Tyler, I don't know what to click. This is what I click, but you just do what you think. Like, they
Yeah.
want me to have a button on there that says, like, it's called, we called it gambler's choice. I learned that in Vegas. But so basically, like, they just want me to show up and take what the house needs
Mm,
and deliver it, and they trust you.
that's cool. That's a good
So,
idea. Dang. All right. Well, that was awesome, Tyler. Thank you for being here.
of
Appreciate it.
course, listen, and I tell everyone,
Bring
like,
the
if you
energy, dude.
have
I'm
any
excited.
questions,
My day's ending. I'm ready to get going again. I hope everybody else feels like that.
listen.
Oh, well, anyway, I think it's evident that if you're listening and you want to start a real estate photography business, you should definitely check out coaching. Rod leads our enrollment team. You'll talk to him or one of our awesome team members. They can walk you through what it would look like for you. Coaching is different depending on where you are in your business. So check it out. We're a friendly group, as you can tell. We like working with people. It's not like a high pressure, you got to join or you're an idiot. That's not how we run our business. And I just don't think that's a good way to run a business. So yeah, we'd love to talk with you about your market. We'll dive in and see, make sure there's a population. If you live in an area where there's 40 people, like we can't help you. And it's not because we don't want to, it's because we don't want to waste your money. Like our job is to help you build a business. And so that's what we're going to look into. We're going to talk with you about your goals. It's called the game plan call. So it's replaunch.com/apply popped up there. Other than that, I hope whether you decide to do coaching or not, I hope Tyler being on here inspired you to just do something, because that's definitely his secret, right? His secret is that he just got work done. And so, yeah, did you agree with that, Kenny? Is that a good summary of Tyler's secret?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Tyler, thanks for being here. Rod and Kenny, to you as well, guys. And for everybody watching, thanks so much for spending your Thursday with us. And we'll see you very soon. Thanks, everybody. You know what to do with that link. You know what to do.
Yes. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. That was like a big issue. All right, guys. Got to be.
Bye, everybody.